Staking your ADA is free, it has no locking period, and it helps secure the network and provides you with staking rewards, which are basically, in practice, passive income. You can actually stake your ADA by choosing a stake pool that validates blocks on the Cardano blockchain, and as you can imagine, different stake pools have different performances and produce different returns. So if you want to maximize your staking rewards, you actually need to spend some time to choose the best stake pool possible. And in this video, we're going to share with you an amazing tool that you can use to compare stake pools, compare their performance, predict what should happen in the future based on some of the most relevant metrics, and of course, maximize your returns by staking your ADA. As we start this video, I think it is important to refer that rewards is just one of the reasons you can have to choose a stake pool. In fact, there are other very relevant reasons to choose a stake pool. For example, there are some stake pools that are donating earnings to charities, so you can choose to help a stake pool because of that. Or, for example, you can delegate to support a person who's doing a lot for Cardano, or even a project that is doing very important contributions, and this is an important way to thank them as well, besides the earnings you get by staking, of course. However, I know many people that don't care so much about that, and they would prefer to maximize their rewards, and that's fair. And in that scenario, even some small difference in percentage points in terms of returns can make a huge difference in the long run. And this is because your ADA rewards for staking compound automatically, which is amazing because, the power of compounding is huge, as you can see here, especially if you're holding for the long run, it will make a significant difference. While the rate of return of your staked ADA, as you'll see today, is not huge, considering that you have no locking period, you keep the custody of your funds all the time, you don't give it up away for your stake pool, and your rewards are basically automatically compounding on top of your already existing holdings of ADA. Staking your ADA, I think, is a huge opportunity for everyone and a no-brainer, and anyone who holds this cryptocurrency should take advantage of it. If you're a long-term viewer, you might have seen that we had a video recently on the channel a few months ago about how you could maximize your Cardano rewards. That was an amazing video. There we dive deeper into staking. We explain you everything you need to know. You can find the video here at the top. And there as well, we talk a little bit more about the different variables that influence the profitability of the pool, and we tell you what you should be watching for when you're making a decision. However, we were not aware that there's a tool that could help you with that. So this video is a great follow-up for that one, because besides learning what you need to know in that video that you should definitely check, it will be in the end of this video as well for you to watch after, we'll provide you with a calculator, practical calculator that you can use to compare pools, to do estimations, to do scenarios by changing variables and changing parameters. So yeah, you can do a lot with this tool, especially once you have the knowledge and the understanding of how stake pools operate. And it's going to be extremely helpful for you to compare pools and make sure you're choosing the best one. But let's dig in. Let's get into the calculator, and the calculator, as you can see here, is this one from the Cardano Foundation, okay, and you can find it on their website. It's cardano.org/calculator, staking calculator, and this basically calculates the rewards. Here you should add the amount of ADA you have, all right. The idea here is to make it a video exploring, of course, this website and showing you what you can do with it. And it's really nice. It uses a Monte Carlo simulation. It gets data from the mainnet, and it's predicting the future. But of course, as you can imagine, this is an estimation and things can change, right? But this is just to help us. But yeah, you come here, you can set basically the amount of ADA you have. Let's say we have 50,000, which we don't, but just do it. Let's say we have that, we can calculate and see what are the staking rewards. As you see, the value changes. You can see here the previous value. Of course, the return doesn't change, but what you get per year in terms of ADA back, it does change, right? And then once we have this value, let's say we want to change it again. Let's say we have 100,000. This is basically what we will earn in ADA for 1 year. So it's interesting to play with that, but that's not the most amazing feature. I think the most amazing feature is related here with stake pools, right? And basically you can come here and compare at the same time 3 different stake pools to see how much you would earn basically with this simulation, which I think is amazing. So yeah, you come here and basically you select the pool ticker. You come to select. It gives you the pool tickers, and it gives you a way for you to search. Of course, this is not super user friendly in the sense that you need to know which pools you actually want to search. But for that, you can either use your wallet or you can use an explorer, like for example, Sex Explorer. And you can go look for pools, for the existing pools out there. Another option you also have is pooltool.io, which I really like because you can do a lot of filtering here for the pools, and I think that's really positive. As I've shown you in the previous video, you can select a lot of things for the pool and a lot of variables, and you can play with this to try to get the best pools possible. Let's say we want pools that have at least 28 million. Let's apply in terms of stake. Let's apply this. This is and we can see here a few pools that we can use, right? But yeah, basically you can find the pools and you can find what you want to compare, and then you come here and you put the sticker. And I'll make an example. Let's see your BSP pool. For example, this is a good pool, one of the pools I use, a pool also from a friend contributing a lot into the Cardano ecosystem, which is Leandros. But we also have, for example, Cardanians. Let's see if we can get their pool. I think they have a lot of pools. I think it's this one. Hopefully we can get their pool, also a good pool here. And we can get some other pool. I don't know, we can choose from here just to make it fairer or make it more random. Let's choose Panda Pool. I don't know if it's good, I don't know if it's bad. Yeah, and we have here 3 pools that we can compare, and here we can see a lot of things, right? We can see how many blocks these pools have minted. So, you know, a lot of blocks minting from these pools. Pretty amazing, I would say. Yeah, also interesting to see the difference in delegators. For example, this pool has much more delegators, which is pretty nice than this one. Interesting. And then you can see other things like the margin, what are they charging for the pool, and the min fee, which is the minimum fee they charge to all stakeholders, all the epochs. And you can see these things here. And then you can compare, and basically I don't know, you compare this one, you see the Panda is not that good, you can go for another one. Let's go for the Delta, and you try to see if Delta is better, but no, that Delta is not going that well. Let's see, I know another one. Let's see if it's still going. The Mochi Stakepool, I believe. Yeah, Mochi here. We can compare this one. This one is a slower pool, so they are not able to mint as many blocks, so it goes a little bit under the average, but still they are good guys that deserve your support, right? They have little delegators, and it's an effort to grow into Cardano. It's not easy to grow your pool. But then the cool thing here is you also have the stake pool parameters, and here you can play with these parameters. For example, let's take on the BSP pool here. We select the pool, and then it shows the information about the pool, such as the pledge, the delegators, stake, and total stake. And then we can play with it, right? Let's say we want to put that the variable fee will be 0. What would be the returns, right? And then it will change the returns here on top. It was like 2.6, I believe, and now it's around 2.67 in terms of upper returns. Let's say we do the 2.5 again. You'll see that it will be, you know, just 2.6. And we can do this with all. We can go here to cards. We can see they have 36 million. Let's say if the fixed costs were 170, what would be the difference? And we can see here the difference in the return. You know, we can also see if the margin was 0. We can play with this. We can put higher margins, lower margins, and see what's the difference. But here, just by putting the pool, we see the realistic values, which I think is super interesting. And then we also have something that I believe is also very nice for governance actions, right? Because we have a lot of parameters that could change within the blockchain, right? We could change the optimal number of pools, the distribution to the treasury, monetary expansion, all of that, and that would affect the rate at which the monetary growth of Cardano is happening, right? And that would affect this calculation. So let's see if we would change and if we would centralize more the blockchain to an optimal number of 200 pools. What would change here? You know, and it increases a little bit the return of each pool, which is normal, right? We have less pools, so that makes sense. I'd say if we would increase it to 2000, yeah, we could see here a huge difference, right, in the pools and the return we should expect from each pool, right? So yeah, I think this is really interesting to play with. You can play with all the things we have. You can play with the real values, but also simulate with other values. You also have your static parameters where you can change some of the things like the supply of data, which allows you to do predictions further in the future if you already had more supply in the market, right? You can see here the fees per epoch. You can play with these and see how what would happen if things change to Cardano. I think that's very positive overall. And yeah, it's really easy to use. It's just about finding the pool, finding the ticker, and then you can actually compare the expected return. And you can see here also more information on how these expected returns are calculated. You know, they are an average of the distribution, tail distribution, and here the lower is the 10% percentile, which is not very likely, right? This is average performance here, and upper is a really great performer if it was a really great year for this pool. This is because, of course, there is a factor of luck. So if you're really unlucky, you should expect to be on the lower percentile. If you're average, you should expect an average. And if you're really lucky, you'll be on the upper end, on the upper percentile, which would be awesome for you, for your pool, for your delegators. So ideally, you can choose how you want to play out. If you want to maximize the lower bound, if you want just to maximize the three of them or the upper, whatever you prefer, you can play your strategy. And you just need to complete this calculator with something to search like this, where you can, for example, I don't know, you want a minimum pledge, you want the epoch fee to be 0, you can go and you can apply, and you can find pools that have these characteristics, right? And you can even put, I don't know, I want variable fee to be 0. You can come and you can say here, some pools with variable fee that are 0, ADA vault, ADV, and then to search is really simple. You come here and you do ADV, and you have several ADVs. This is the one we found, and these are the returns of this pool, which is presenting some pretty nice returns. So you can play with this, find the good pools, and start comparing them. So like, for example, we had the ADV, which had good return, but we also have here other pools like North pool has some great returns. So we come here and we compare, I don't know, we take Moshi and we go for North. We search that ticker. Actually there's many tickers like this. We'll just choose some one. Is actually a 0 margin fee pool, so it's good. And we can see here what are the expected returns, right? These ones are very similar, but the lower bound is a little bit better for ADV, so that could be your choice. And you can do that with as many pools as you want. You know, honestly, I hope this has been useful and an interesting tool for you. Check it out, play with it yourself. I think it's going to be extremely useful. And on top of that, of course, learn about the different Stakepool parameters, how they work, what do you need to optimize. And to do that, watch this video next.